The asylum had always loomed in the periphery of my nightmares. Its derelict form, with ivy-clad walls and broken windows like hollow eyes, haunted the edges of our town's history. When I heard the whispers about an abandoned asylum tour, I dismissed them as morbid curiosity. Yet, when my curiosity got the better of me, I found myself at the front gates, clutching a flashlight and an old camera, convinced that I could debunk the tales of hauntings once and for all. The door creaked open with a reluctant groan, a sound I would later come to associate with the souls trapped within. The air inside was thick with decay, mingling with the scent of old paper and mildew. My flashlight's beam cut through the darkness, revealing peeling wallpaper and overturned furniture that seemed to groan under the weight of years. My footsteps echoed through the cavernous hallways as I ventured deeper, each step stirring the dust of a forgotten world. The photographs of the asylum's former patients lined the walls, their eyes following me with a sadness that sent shivers down my spine. One photograph in particular, a girl with hollow eyes and a vacant stare, seemed to beckon me, drawing me toward a long-abandoned therapy room. The room was filled with rusted medical equipment and broken chairs, but what caught my eye was an old journal lying atop a dusty desk. The leather cover was cracked, and as I opened it, I discovered a series of frantic entries written in a scrawling hand. They spoke of something monstrous in the asylum, something that fed on fear and trapped souls in a never-ending nightmare. A sudden noise behind me made me jump. A crash, like something heavy hitting the floor. I spun around, but the hallway was empty. My rational mind told me it was probably just the building settling, but my heart pounded with the rhythm of primal fear. I pressed on, determined to find the source of the noise, or at least uncover something tangible. I reached the basement, drawn by a deep, unsettling hum that seemed to emanate from below. The basement door was ajar, and as I descended the stairs, the air grew colder, my breath forming visible puffs in the dim light of my flashlight. The basement was a labyrinth of corridors, each one leading to rooms filled with old medical files and empty beds. In one corner, I noticed a heavy iron door, barely visible under layers of dust and cobwebs. My hand trembled as I pushed it open, revealing a small, windowless room bathed in a sickly green light from a malfunctioning bulb. In the center of the room stood a single, rusted gurney. Strapped to it was a figure, obscured by shadows. My flashlight flickered, and I could barely make out the shape of a person, a patient perhaps left behind. My heart raced, and I moved closer. The sound of my footsteps amplified in the oppressive silence. As I approached, the figure's head turned slowly toward me. The face that emerged from the darkness was not human. It was a twisted amalgamation of features, eyes that gleamed with an unnatural intelligence, and a mouth that stretched into a grin far too wide. It was then that I realized this was not just a patient. It was something much more sinister. The figure spoke, its voice a raspy whisper that seemed to slither into my mind. "You shouldn't have come here." I stumbled backward, my flashlight falling to the ground and plunging the room into darkness. Panic set in as I scrambled to find my way back, but the once familiar corridors had transformed into a maze of shifting walls and disorienting shadows. The whispers grew louder, a chorus of tortured souls echoing through the labyrinth. I ran, my breaths coming in ragged gasps, but the whispers seemed to chase me, growing louder and more insistent. Every turn I took led me deeper into the asylum's malevolent heart. I reached what I thought was the exit, but it only led to a room filled with mirrors. Each mirror reflected not just my terrified face, but also glimpses of the twisted figure that had followed me. In a final, desperate act, I smashed one of the mirrors, hoping to shatter the illusion. The room fell silent, and the oppressive weight of fear seemed to lift momentarily. As I cautiously made my way out, I saw the flicker of moonlight through a cracked window. I pushed the door open and stumbled into the cool night air, gasping for breath. I never went back to the asylum, and I avoided speaking of it. The photographs I took were all corrupted, their images twisted and distorted beyond recognition. Sometimes I hear the whispers again, especially in the dark corners of my home. They are always the same. You shouldn't have come here.